The evening in downtown Portland carried that familiar chill of autumn, where the streets shimmered with reflections of soft rain and the scent of wet leaves lingered in the air. David Harrison sat alone outside a quiet cafe, a half-eaten plate of pasta cooling before him as city lights flickered across the glass. 2 years had passed since his wife Patricia died, yet her absence still felt freshly carved into every quiet moment. Once a man driven by schedules, meetings, and ambition, David now found comfort in stillness, in watching strangers pass, in listening to the hum of life moving without him. The world felt slower, softer, yet emptier in ways success could never fill. He looked at his watch, a gift from Patricia, and remembered her saying, "Time is the one thing you can't own." The truth of it pressed against him tonight. He wasn't afraid of growing old, only of fading unseen. As drizzle began to fall and the cafe lights shimmered warmly against the dark, he wondered if this quiet was all life had left, until a young woman's shadow appeared before him, and the story he didn't know he needed began to unfold. She stood there for a moment, hesitant yet resolute, her arms gently cradling a baby wrapped in a faded blanket. The rain had deepened, tracing glistening lines across her cheeks, though David couldn't tell if it was rain or tears. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was soft but steady, the kind that carried both humility and quiet strength. "Sir," she said, "may I have your leftovers?" For a heartbeat, David just looked at her, surprised not by the question but by the honesty in her eyes. There was no bitterness there, no demand, only simple need. He glanced at his untouched plate, then back at her, and something inside him stirred. Without thinking, he gestured to the chair across from him and said gently, "You don't need leftovers. Sit down. Let me buy you a warm meal." She hesitated, clutching her child closer, then nodded gratefully and sat. As the waiter approached, David noticed the faint tremble in her hands, the exhaustion hidden behind her polite smile. It wasn't just hunger she carried, it was life pressing too hard. In that small, rain-washed corner of the city, two strangers sat across from each other, and compassion quietly bridged the distance between them. The warmth of the cafe wrapped around them as the waiter placed 2 fresh plates on the table. For a while, they ate in silence, the sound of rain outside filling the pauses. When David gently asked her name, she smiled faintly and said, "Christina." Her voice was soft but edged with fatigue. As she spoke, her story unfolded, a young mother who had escaped an abusive relationship, who now spent her nights in a shelter and her days searching for a way forward. She had once worked at a small diner until it closed without warning, and tomorrow she had an interview at a nearby hotel. She hoped, she said, to earn enough to give her baby, Lily, a real home. David listened quietly, each word tugging at a part of his heart he'd thought had long gone numb. There was no self-pity in her tone, only resolve, a quiet determination to rebuild. Watching her feed her child between bites, he was reminded of his own daughter when she was small, and for the first time in a long while, he felt something deeper than sympathy, he felt connection, as if life had just whispered a purpose back into his soul. When they finished eating, the rain had softened to a mist, and the cafe had grown quieter, its last few patrons speaking in low tones. Christina reached for her worn bag, ready to leave, but David stopped her gently. He took out a pen, wrote something on one of his business cards, and slid it across the table. "Call this number tomorrow," he said. "Her name's Helen Martinez. She runs my foundation, she'll help you with housing, childcare, whatever you need to get back on your feet." Christina looked at the card as if it were something fragile, something too kind to be real. Her eyes filled with tears. She tried to blink away. "Why?" she asked quietly. "You don't even know me." David smiled, the kind of smile that carried memory. "Because once, someone did the same for me." He told her about Mr. Kowalski, the factory owner who had given him his first chance when he was just a struggling young man with nothing but hope. "Someone believed in me when I didn't believe in myself," he said softly. "Now it's my turn." For a moment, neither spoke. Only the soft hum of rain and gratitude filled the air. 6 months slipped quietly by before a letter arrived at David's office, the envelope hand-addressed in neat, looping handwriting. Inside was a short note, written with gratitude that seemed to radiate off the page. Christina wrote that she had gotten the hotel job and now rented a small apartment not far from downtown. She enclosed a photograph, baby Lily sitting on a soft rug, her smile bright, her eyes full of the kind of innocence that made hope feel real again. Christina wrote about the nursing classes she was taking at night, how she wanted to dedicate her life to helping others the way someone had once helped her. "You showed me," she wrote, "that asking for help isn't weakness, it's courage. And kindness isn't charity, it's love in action." David sat for a long time after reading those words, the letter trembling slightly in his hands. He placed it beside Patricia's photo on his desk, imagining the smile she would have given him, proud, knowing, tender. For the first time in years, the ache in his chest felt lighter. The world, he realized, had just sent him a quiet reminder: love never ends, it only changes form. That night, as David sat by his office window watching the city lights shimmer below, his thoughts drifted back to that evening at the cafe, the sound of rain in the distance, the warmth of a shared meal, the courage in a young mother's eyes. He realized how moments that seem ordinary often hold the power to reshape lives in quiet, lasting ways. Patricia's old saying echoed in his mind: everyone deserves a second chance, but Sarah's voice from their call earlier that day added something deeper: sometimes giving someone else a second chance gives you one too. He smiled softly at that truth, feeling it settle into his heart like peace returning after a long absence. Outside, the scent of autumn leaves mingled with the night air, carrying the memory of connection, grace, and the unspoken understanding that kindness flows both ways. For David, what began as a simple act of compassion had come full circle, not as charity, but as renewal. And as he turned off the office light, he understood that the most meaningful miracles in life are never loud or grand, they are the quiet exchanges of humanity that remind us we're never truly alone.